Um, Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shanno Singing Day 3 at Lark Camp, Virtual Lark Camp, 2026. And this is my sixth year doing this virtual lesson or introduction to Shanno singing. Um, we went over on day 1 some basic tenets of what Shanno singing is. So, a recap: it is um, a traditional Irish singing style called Old Style or Shan Nos, Old Style. Um, and it's very much a tradition of listening and listening very closely and very carefully to a single thread or a single line of melody as you tell a story, a sort of emotional story, and connect with the listeners in the room with you. We had the first song we ran through the verdant braes of screen in English as a language, and it doesn't have a chorus. Shanno songs don't usually, um, but you can treat songs in a Shannos way. And it is a very free, arrhythmic way of treating the song and the story that you're sharing with the room. Reminder that the the most sort of core tenet that will help you sort of ground your singing with this kind of music is to think of it as alive. So you can't sort of map it down onto your page. You can't, it's not usually written in music notation. I think the closest they get is airs and very occasionally rubato in a classical music context. Um, I am not fluent in the Irish language. I have to give you that caveat. Um, I grew up, and as a little kid, I heard it spoken from my dad's mom, and I have just a very few songs that I've been given over my life from singers of this tradition. And so I'm hoping to bring you into get a taste of what this is and maybe sing a line or so or start thinking about the tradition um, a little more broadly. So I have a few songs that we did. I said the day 1 we did the Verdant Braes of Screen, which is a traditional song out of the west of Ireland. Day 2 is a song that was sort of celebrated as a Jacobite anthem, um, a return to hooray, a return of summer and seasons moving and an end of hardship and winter and things. Oro Sheda Wahawaya with translation there. And I think today I'm going to go a little bit hard mode because we have just a few of us in the room with us here today. And I'm going to share with you a song called Aran na Lawer. But before I do, I want to, if you have a package of note paper with you, if you have been marking on your computers or taking notes in any other way, I want to go over Oro Shedovahawalya, and you can open up some of the things. I'll put them back again into the chat. Or if Michael Jones would be kind enough to share Oro Shedovahawalya back in the chat so everybody can look at it on their own screens and not have to look at my screen sharing shenanigans. It's always a little bit weird here. But so yesterday we did Orosheda Wahawalya, and here you're gonna get the new song for today, and you're also going to get, I'm gonna go ahead and once I accept that, yes, in fact, we are recording, here we go, we can start with what we did yesterday. And I have a few little reminders for everybody that's following along. The first is when you are reading the Irish language, an initial S followed by E or I, one of those bright vowels is pronounced sh. Oro she. She Davahavalya. Now, what you do when you see those H's crop up in the written form of this language is you elide or soften or pull back in the mouth the preceding consonant. B's and T's and D's and G's. So it's not forward in the mouth, you pull the sound back. When you see two vowels at once, squish them together and see how close you can get, and see the ways that you can squish those vowels together. And this will be squished differently depending on the region that you learn a song from. So those are just a few reminders. And the last one I want to remind you of just for now is that little accent mark, that little fada, tells you to emphasize that vowel. So if you're familiar with a linguistic background or context, IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet, it's A, E, I, O, U. So when you see an I, it's E. E is the way you pronounce it. And you're welcome to try it along at home with me and say it along on your home computers. At some point, I'm going to unmute or ask you to unmute and join me on a couple of things and try it yourself. So, Oro Shirawahabalya, you may hear it on the interwebs on YouTube. You may have heard other performers and song sharers bring the song around. Again, regional differences. My pronunciation comes from the singers I heard and learned from up in the north, where my family's from, up in Donegal, and also in the southwest, where I know a bunch of singers, but I am not from there. So this is not what you will hear on Duolingo. That's a whole different constructed form of the Irish language, a Sgaeilge. But yeah, so first verse and then the chorus, and I'm going to do it nice and slow, and I'm going to do it paired back and without the grace notes. And as we go, I will creep in with more of the ornamentation. Shedowahawan malen war domegrach tuweigewan do gevrea ishelf meerlach stugiltalish na galav oro shedowahavalya Oro Shedowahavalya Oro Shedowahavalya Anisharak Tanzaura Dagranya Well Akjaktar Saila Olardale Margarda Gillian is niet frank naar Spanje, is kurfeshadru gargala, oro shedowahavalya, oro shedowahavalya, oro shedowahavalya. Anisharaktan saura Awileri na vertkovekam Muramam bjoina yakshaktan Granja wel agashmila gishich Afogarteinar galav Oro Shedowahavalya Oro Shedowahavalya Oro Shedowahavalya Anisharaktan Zaura. And let's do it again, just the chorus, just these 3 lines, right? And then into the chorus. O kasfada, oro shedowahavalya, oro shedowahavalya, Hawaiian, oro, shidowa Hawaii, anisharaktan saura. Yeah. Questions on any of that? Does that all kind of like, oh, right, I remember that from yesterday. Thumbs up or give us a shout if that is working for you. So I see a few new people in the room. I see some thumbs up. Great. I just ran through it once from yesterday. So another couple of things. I mentioned yesterday that there's a bit of squishing or stretching of each of the lines or numbers of syllables in a given line or a given phrase. And there are lots and lots of syllables sort of squished into a given pulse, if you will, like a heartbeat. And so even Shanno songs have something that's kind of got enough skeleton structure that it holds some kind of structure, but it is very free and breathing, right? So they're going to be slightly different lengths and numbers of lengths of a given phrase and extended out in different places depending on how you want to emphasize the storytelling and the thing that's important to you as a singer with this material. Questions on any of that? Go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll see. I'll see if there's, before we hop on to the complicated thing, which is a true Shanno song. No? Okay. I see I have you captivated. Good times. Okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to look for, here we go. This is a song that I learned from the singing of a singer up in the north of Donegal, and I sang it yesterday, or I sang a verse. So we're going to attempt a single verse of the song Aran na Lawer. Now, I want to emphasize why it's pronounced that way. You see all those pesky H's, and what happens with an M sound when you pull it back in the mouth? It almost becomes a W, right? So, subtle, but like when you see the word Salwan, Samhain, that MH, sa, like what's the vowel? Sa, sa, wine. It's part A, part I, and that A tells you how to swing into the following vowel. Sawan. Oh, that's how you get that pronunciation, right? So, Aran, that sort of almost W, and then there's that pesky fada. There's that little accent mark that tells you that's the one to hang on. So instead of just Auron, it's Aran, and that is sung. And Nalawer, Auron Nalawer. No, right? So if you squish it a little bit softer or a little bit harder, depending on, again, where you hear the words from or where the speaker of Irish is coming from, you're going to get a slightly different pronunciation or different way of squishing it. But Aran na Lawer. So go ahead and say it with me. Just like move your mouth and we'll make it work. Aran na Lawer. Yeah, I see some mouths moving. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to sing it all the way through. I'm going to give you the example of this verse just as a proper Sean-nós treatment of it, with all of its frills and frippery and all its prettiness. And then we can strip it back. We can pull it back into something that we can kind of begin to understand the patterns of. If you play traditional Irish tunes, the parallel is almost like an AABB structure, right? So the melody line is very mobile. It's melismatic is what they They say when there are lots and lots and lots of notes for a given number of syllables. So highly melodic is what that means. So Aran the Lawer tells the story of the loss of a repository of knowledge. There was a teacher, a hedge school teacher, a guy named Thomas O'Sullivan, who traveled the countryside and was told by the government to collect all the stories and songs and teach the most iconic or culturally important stuff to Irish people. It was a sort of subversive thing. He was going around the countryside teaching Irish as a language because they weren't teaching it in institutional schools. Like it wasn't taught in Dublin at Trinity. It wasn't taught by the official state schools. But Irish and Irish culture was brought by hedge masters, hedge school teachers. And he was recommended to retain all this stuff and to teach people better, to put it all into books. And so he'd go around the countryside collecting all these stories and histories and all the language and poetry. And he was going to ship it back to have it reproduced in England, at Oxford, and ship his store of books and stories. And the ship ran aground. It was lost off the coast. And so all of this knowledge and information and stories, he wrote a song about losing it. Anyway, it's very sad. But I think it's important to remember that the oral tradition only stays alive when you share it. And so I hope that you get to carry that away with you a little bit for today. Go Juan Velin Shachasame Kashkalanivin Taravre Marasho Terfli Nafarage Arsaila Again I bort magidas taras show. We were emnin chin my shaw. John Way Shalajataro Marvash Lane. Skirger Hulan Jaktara Akach Molen Gurim Bordion Indo Hjalchas Anjar Drain Dofre Mochrile Adersha Ite Lingen Deshe Chalmar Go where den chiri shasen shaw Dorai ben chain. So this is what we're going to be trying to do today. We're trying to just get this first verse setting the scene of what happened here. So I'm going to start it line by line, and we're just going to run it through spoken a couple of times, and then we're going to sing just a single line. Now, yesterday, folks tried to do the whole verses at once, and I think that maybe lost a few folks. So let's just try it line by line to make it a little more, a little easier to repeat. Yeah? Go. Yeah? Go. Quan. And what happens with that? BH. Veil. Go quan veil inche. Again, remember that S followed by an E. Inche. Go quan veil inche. Now, that's a translation of the word Valentia. It's on the left coast of Ireland. Cassa. Remember, it's a hard S because kassa, and then what happens to a D when you pull it back in the mouth with that little H? Kassa. It's like how you end that ah. Go kwan velin kassa may. Do it again. Go kwan velin kassa may. One more time and we'll sing it. Go kwan velin kassa may. So we're going to start. Here's my note. Go kwan velin go kwan velin kasame. So we're going to do it all together. Go kwan velin kasame. One more time. Go kwan velin kasame. You hear how that lifts up at the end there? Just a little bit. Okay. And I would like to call on someone in the room to give it a go. Just that one line. Who's got one? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Just one person. If you see someone else muted or unmuted, go ahead and let them go. But I'm welcoming it into the room. Who's going to try it with me?
I could give it a go.
Perfect. Welcome, Erica.
Go kwan vil insha asame. And I lost it in the middle there.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. But you found it again at the end and it ended on the right lift up there. Yeah. Da 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 da. So nice try. Really good. Who wants to try it next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Go, Kwan Velin Shakasame.
Sure. Okay. And for your voice and where your voice is sitting,
Yeah.
no, let's try it here. Go
Go,
kwan velin shakasame da da. Try it there.
go, Kwan Velin in Shakasame. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that sounded like it felt better to sing there
Yeah.
for your voice. Yeah.
Cool.
Um, who wants to give it a go? We'll try one more time. One more person. This is just the spine of it, and then
I'll
we can
go.
add some color. Sure.
Go Kwan Malaysia Kasame.
Nice. Okay. Spot on. Um, Go kwan vailin shakasame. So who actually in the room, do we have anybody that wants to try any of the coloration or the little flips or the little triplets or ornaments? Do we have anyone that wants to give that a go? And how would you embellish that line where you're describing the the place? Oops. Try that. See if that works. Nope. There. Now that's easier. So describing Valencia Harbor. Who wants to give that a go? With a little bit of color, a little bit of describing what you imagine is this place. I'm wiggling my eyebrows. Nope. Okay. That's okay. Still doing a pretty good job. Yeah, Patrick says super sad. I was checking the chat here just a second. Go right? Little flip there. Gu quan velin sha kasame. Rock, you want to give it a go?
Hi, no, I don't. I can't sing for anything. I've just come to listen.
Okay. Let's go ahead and it looks like you've muted yourself back up. Okay. Um, Go back to the spine. Go quan velin sha kasame. Ba ba ba. Go quan velin sha kasame. Kosh. Right? Melismatic. Kosh. Goling. Goling. Kosh goling. Kosh goling. Avin. 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 Right? You can see how that would. Oh, yeah. If you do all of them all at once. Avin. Avin. Like, oh, yeah, you kind of touch across all those vowels just a little bit. Go quan velin sha kasame. Kosh calling avin. Darvre. Darvre. Right? Darvre. Darvre. Kosh calling avin. Darvre. Just sing the melody. La 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 la. Who wants to give it a go? Kosh koleni vin darevre. It's like dar, and then you finish that consonant before you. So it almost sounds like there's an extra vowel in there. There isn't really. It's just a way to get from the R to the V. Nah? Who wants to give it a go? Ah. Kosh koleni vin darevre. Unmute yourself. Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Then I'm just gonna keep going. Gu quan velin sha kasame. Kosh kalini vin. Evin. Say it with me. Evin. Darpre. Marasho. S-E. Marasho tarfleet. Na farage. Go quan velin sha kasame. Kosh kalini vin darvre. Marasho tarfleet. Na farage. And then we resolve it. Arsila again. What's a G and a C sound like together? It's hardening that G, G. It's like half C, half K, half G, G. Right? Anybody? Anyone to try it? Mar a shelter fleet na farige.
I'll give it a go again. Let's give them space for other people to do it.
Yep. It's okay.
Can you do the third line? Can you do it again? Just so I can hear the melody or the harmony.
Mara shelter fleet na farige.
Ma
Let me drop it
show.
down. Let me see if
Okay.
I can drop it down for
Yeah.
pitching it for your voice a little bit.
Your voice.
It might be a little low for me to drop it very much. Down here Here, let's try. Mara Schulterfleet na farage. Let's do it again. Mara
Mara shoulder
Schulterfleet.
flina farage.
Okay.
Didn't quite hit that.
Mara Schul. Just do that
M-
part. Da
Ma
da da.
Mara shoulder flina farage.
Okay,
Wait.
better, better. Yeah. Mara Schulterfleet na farage.
Mara shoulder flina farage. Not
Okay,
quite.
good. It landed on the note we want for the next line.
Cool.
Arsila again. If I can go that low. Arsila again. But let's pitch it back up where my voice is comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Go and pop it back up where I was. Go quan velin shakasame. Gosh calling evin frey. Mara see, shoulder fleet na farage. Arsila again. So the ocean deep, right? Where the ships are, where they take off, where it's a port. There's a it's not just going across the bay. It's not just going across an inlet or around a peninsula. Like it is very much farther out. So describing how easy it would be for a ship to get crashed on the rocks. And then we're going to repeat that melody. This is the A and then the A part. So for tune players in the room, this is a really good way of thinking about the structure of a lot of Shanno songs. There are often melodic repeats, even if they're not actually like choruses in tunes, right? So I port magito staras show. Nice and simple, yeah. No tricky extra things in this one, which I think is very nice. E, right? What that vowel sound is like in International Phonetic Alphabet. It's an E sound. E port magi tostadas shall. E port magi tostadas shall. Just like go quan belin shakasame. E port magi tostadas shall. Nice and simple, not a lot of extra grace notes unless you want them. We can add them if you like, but we don't have to have them. Y port mañito estarás show. Fui. Fui oram. Fui oram minchin my show. Okay, we'll do that again. Fui ora minchin my I port magido staras show. Fui ora minchin my and then F followed by that H. John. John. John Vay. Shalad. Shia, right? Like Sean. Shalad. Yatar. Eatar. Who, right? Yataru. So, I port mangitos taras siya, we ori minchin maya sa, John vei shalat yataro. Remember, there's no extra fada there, so it's a much subtler sound, or not as important. Yataro, like in English, you'd see UGH and go right? But in Irish, because it doesn't have that fada, yataro, yataro. So do it again. I portmangitos taras siya, we ori minchin maya sa, John vei shalat yatara, marvash dir lane. Yeah, let's go from the top. Go quan velin kasame, Gosh galeni vintar vrei, Mara sholtar fleet na farge, Arsala again. I port magitos taras siya, we ori minchin maya sa, John vei shalat yataro, marwash their lane. Hear how I hung on that lane and like closed it out with that, but I was really hanging on that fada emphasized vowel there, that le. Okay, so that's the A part, and an A part again, just like in a tune. Isgerger hulan yaktara, Isgerger hulan yaktara. Okay, now we're gonna go over this. Remember from yesterday, is kind of becomes like how you launch into that initial consonant. Skr, skr, ger. It's like ger, gur, hulan. What happens when there's a vowel followed by a vowel? Kind of squeeze them together, right? There's no fada in there to say you're emphasizing this second A. It's just hanging on it for a moment. Eskergur hulan yaktara, yaktara. Skergur hulan yaktara, akach molein. Iskergur hulan yaktara, akach molein. And I'm adding a little bit of color in here. Does someone want to try it straight or with just these two lines? Ba 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 da, ba 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 ba. Do you want to try that with the words? I don't know. Who wants to give it a go? Yeah, I see a hand kind of raised up. Lynette?
Yeah, I'll try it. Can you do it for me one more time so it's fresh?
Sure. Skergur hulan yaktara, akach molein.
Iskar korhulan dakara akak
Nice. I saw you like, oh, right, I remember what to do with that fada. That was good. That was good. And you finished where we wanted. So it sets you up for the next line melodically. Yeah? Someone else want to give it a go too? Ba, ba, ba. I believe in you. And I can go ahead and just do the melody without the words at all. So if that's easier for it to cement in your brain. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Someone want to try it with the words? Sharon or Bodhi? I remember you were here yesterday. Sharon, do you want to give it a go? No, that's a no face. Okay. Bodhi, you want to give it a go? Oh, you're muted, unfortunately. What happened there? If you're not up for it, that's okay. Denise, do you want to try it?
Sorry?
Oh, I was asking if you wanted to try the line.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm doing something else right now. Thank you, though.
Okay. Okay. Then we're just gonna keep plowing on and hope you catch it. If you have any questions, please, please, please put them in the chat. I do try to check it periodically. And then Rock says the auto subtitles are hilariously bad and distracting. Oh, I don't know how to do auto because I didn't set up the meeting, so I'm not sure that subtitles are controllable from my end. Um, Patrick, do you want to try it again? Yeah.
Okay. Is get is yeah. Hmm?
Mhm.
Find the right note. Is gerguhula Is that right?
Yep, keep going.
Ahmoli. No. Ahmoli. We haven't gotten to the next one yet.
Yep, nope, just these two. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually pretty freaking good. So I'm hoping to get to the end of just this verse, but this is the melodic structure. So if you go hunting for Irish language examples going forward, you can find it. I also have a number of private students, so if you really want to get into depth about some of this stuff, ask me. I usually take on a limited number of students each sort of semester or so, um, so that I'm free to travel and things in the summer. But I love working with people and helping suit songs to individual singers who love it. So after the fact, we can definitely try it. I'm going to go back to the very beginning of just this. And let's see if we can get all the way to this part. And I'm going to go nice and slow. And then start bringing in a little bit more color. Maybe a next time through. But I'm going to do it pretty clean, pretty straightforward, just pared back to its spine for now. Gu quan velinsha kasame gosh golini vintarbre mara shelter flee na farge har sila again. Portmangido starasha Fui min chin mayasa John Wei Shalan Yatara Marwash Lane Iskergor Hulan Yaktara Hakach Molain. Now, Gurim board yonin. Gurim board yonin. Do hjalahas. Gur im board yonin. Do hjalahas. Gurim board yonin. Do hjalahas. Nice and slow, right? Antarach. Terrain. Gurim bordionin. Dochalachas. Antarach. Terrain. So we're going to do those two together. Iskergor hulan yaktara akach molain. Gurim bordionin dochalachas antarach terrain. So that's the melodic structure of the B part. Iskergor hulan yaktara akach molain. Gurim bordionin dochalachas antarach terrain. So it ends on that little lift up note at the very end of the line of the B part. Let's try that one more time. I'm going to do it nice and slow. Iskergor hulan yaktara akach molain. Gurim bordionin dochalachas antarach terrain. Ba da 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 da. Right? Kind of almost begins to sound like a tune you may recognize, right? Ba da ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba bum bum ba ba da ba da ba da ba da 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 da. Yeah? Who wants to give just this line? Skergohul an yaktara akach molain. One more time, and then the next person want to try Gurimbor Yonin. Anyone? I know you're being very brave to step in even a little bit, so.
I'll try. I'm not sure I quite have the melody here. Is this the da 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 da? Is that it? This part?
That's the first part. That's just these two lines. Yep.
Okay. So Ishgergur al chalain chare akashmolain.
Okay. Not bad, actually.
Quite.
Not quite, but we're getting there. And the thing is to remember, a lot of this just comes through repetition, right? Like if you're not familiar with speaking the Irish language, this is hard. If you're not familiar with singing really lyrical, complicated melodies, this is really hard. And if you're not used to learning a fairly complicated, rare art form in a 1 hour session 3 times over the course of one weekend, different songs, like this is also hard. So this is, I would say, one of the more complicated, hard versions of singing that exists within the Irish tradition at all, and across many different forms of singing the world over. Um, I know Indian raga actually also has an incredibly complicated, beautiful tradition of singing, right? So, Sgagor chuan yachtara agach molin. Ba da 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 da. Gurim pordion do chalchas antarach terrain. Who wants to try that part? Someone want to give it a go? I'm going to sing them together one more time. Yeah? Isgagor chuan yachtara agach molin. Gurim bordion do chalachas antarach terrain. Do frem ochri le atersha I deivling an tisha chalma go where dan chiri yasa shal dorai unchained. This is where it's slightly different at the end of the B. So I'm going to do those two together. Sgagor chuan yachtara agach molin. Gurim bordion do chalachas antarach terrain. Do frem ochri le atersha I deivling an tishi chalma go mer dan chiri yasa shal dorai ra right ripe on chain. What's a TSE sound like? Ch, ch. Oh, that's why it sounds that way. Chain. Yep. So we start from the beginning and we'll run through it and sing with me as best you can. Give it a go. And pat yourselves on the back. This is singing in Irish in the Sean-Nós tradition, which is to say it's fairly lyrical. It's really hard to latch into a rhythm structure. The pulse of it is fairly loose. The melody is complicated and intricate. There's a lot of movement in the melody, which is part of how you can tell that it was composed, right? So we're going to start from the very beginning of just this verse, and then again, pat yourselves on the back for singing and learning the song of the books, just this one verse, and getting into the story. Find me after also, if you are not sticking around for Marla's class in Irish music, any instrument, all kinds of things. She does a beautiful job. Find me afterward in the coffee house, and donate to Lark Traditional Arts so that we can keep doing this and offering this for free to the community, and keep this going. So, okay, I'm gonna go nice and slow, and then we'll speed it up and add some grace notes back in. Go quan velin kasame gosh calling evin darvre mara shelter fleet na farge har sila again Portmanguitos taras siya. Hui oirim minchin mayasa. John vei shala jatara. Marsh thin lane. Scanger Holland Yaktara Akach Monlane Gorim Bordionin do Hjalachas Antarach Terrain Do frem ochrile atersha I Loingan Tisha Chalma Go where dan cheery Yasa shall Dorai Bunchain. Okay, I think we don't really have time to go through it one more time with grace notes. But this is a taster. So if you like it, if you love it, come find my stuff in the instruction bulletin board. Find me on socials. Ask me questions. I do teach one-on-one, so I am happy to go more in depth and get into some of the specifics and the details. And if you're here for Marla's class, stick around. She's amazing. Last day of Lark 2026 virtual camp online, virtual Lark. And I'll be in the coffee house. So, and thank you, Mike Jones, for sticking with me the whole weekend and making it easy to see and hang out and sort of answer all this stuff. So